Okay, here we are, a continuation of the Getting Started video for digital scrapbooking in Photoshop Elements. Yesterday, I added these elements here and showed you a little bit about how to maneuver in layers and how to set them up and have things go behind or in front of other items. Now today, let's work on adding text. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the menus and I'm going to go to the big T here, click on it, and when I do that, you'll notice down at the bottom whenever you click on any of the tool items, your tool options box opens up. And in this case, I'm just going to leave it the way it is and I'll show you how to use it here in just a second. Now I'm going to go up here and draw in my text box, and there it is. And I'm going to type in a title in here, Paternal Great Grandmother May E. Thorpe. And generally when I do these scrapbook pages, I put their date of birth and death, and for purposes here, I'm just going to put those dates. Actually, she died in 1946. I can't remember her exact year of birth. All right, so we've got the text there. Let's click the checkbox. And you can see, now go over here to layers, that it's on top of all of these layers. And that's what you want. If you had it down here somewhere, then you wouldn't be able to see it. So now you can see that the bounding boxes are still on that text box, which means that you can move this. See, it's on top of everything. You can move it around wherever you want. In this case, I'm going to keep it up here at the top. And I want to show you how to change the type of font. That just happens to be my favorite font. So what I'm going to do is click in there 4 times, come down here to the bottom, and you can see the menu here. If you click on the drop down box, it has all of these different fonts. As you scroll through your list, you can look over onto the scrapbook page, and it shows you a sample of each one of these fonts. So you can decide which one works best for you. Do you like, that one, or maybe we like this one. Let's Bodoni Black. Now if we click in an area outside of that text box, it shows you what that looks like. What if you wanted to make it bigger because it's a title? Let's click again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Come down here, and this is where you choose your colors. You would click right here, and you have menu items here. Usually the default is good enough for me, but there's all these other selections of photo filter colors. Those are pretty bright. Web safe colors, etc. I just use the default. That seems to work well for me. And if we wanted to change that title, maybe we'll just change it back to black. And so now if we click up here, out, and we do the check here, now you can see it's black. What if I didn't like the size of it? You can do 2 things to select all of this. You can click 1, 2, 3, 4. Usually we'll select it all. It's not working right now. So I just place my cursor. You can see my cursor is right here. And you just can highlight the whole thing. That also works, just like on anything else you're selecting. You can go down here to your sizes, and you can pick another size. Now there it is in 36, but it doesn't show everything. So you'd either have to change the size of the box, or you'd have to change the size of the font. Let's go to 30. Still doesn't show everything. Go to 24. 24 shows everything. Now if you want to change it in increments, you can go and put your cursor down here in the size box, and it's on 24. Your next step up from that on the menu here is 30. But let's see what happens if we go in here, put our cursor here, backspace and say 26. Okay, that worked. That made it bigger, but we didn't lose any of the wording. 27. Oops, 28. Okay, at 28 we lose things. So let's go back to 27 and let's leave it at that. Now, what if we wanted to select it again and go over here? It's already in bold. You can unbold it, rebold it. You can make it italics. You can underline it, or you can do a strike through. Why we do that in digital scrapbooking, I have no idea. But those are the various things you can do. Leave this box here alone. The anti-aliasing needs to be checked. Leave auto alone here. Kind of leave this alone over here. You just want to concentrate on your fonts, what font you want to use, and the color and the size. And that's pretty much what you'll work on. Okay, so now look, we've got our text there. What if I wanted to put text underneath this? I don't like to do scrapbook pages unless I identify the people that are in them, because we always say a picture's worth 1,000 words, but really a picture isn't worth much if we don't know who it is. And if you're planning to pass this on to other members of the family in print books, you want people identified. So let me show you how to do that. I'm going to go back over here to text. I'm going to put a little box under here. And again, go over here and you'll see that it's right here. It's lit up in blue. And I can type in there. Now I'm not going to want a 27 font. So I'm going to go in here and click and make that more of a, let's make it a 12 right now. I want to make sure it's black. And generally, I have my favorite fonts that I use for things. I don't want Broadway regular. I like this particular font called Gloucester. And that's what I'm going to use. So now the cursor is clicking, it's flashing in there. So you would go in here and you would put May Thorpe Gould with her sons left to, to right, Ford, Ford, Harry, and Roy Gould. And you could add a Detroit, Michigan, because I know that's where they were. Now let's hit the checkbox. It's hard to see that, right? So what's an easy way to fix that? We can go up here to View, and we can zoom in. And that's a little easier to see. We can view and zoom in again. And you can use your slider over here. Now, you want to proofread your work. Lord knows I've made a lot of mistakes and not caught them. May Thorpe Gould with her sons left to right, Ford, Harry, and Roy Gould. Now, the bounding boxes are still here. So I want to move that up here a little closer. And it looks good on the green background and you can read it easily. And 12, you can read 10, 11, and 12 fonts pretty easily when you print them in books, because I've done it. If you wanted to move this up here, you could make the font white and it would show up. So always keep in mind your background and what you're doing when you are creating your titles or your identification. All right, so let's zoom out. A quick way to zoom out is just to do the Control minus. And a quick way to go to make this fit on the screen so you can see everything is Control 0. Those are the shortcuts. Now I want to put another box to text. And I'm going to go up here and I'm going to put a text box here. And I'm going to say William and May Gould and family. I don't know if I've got that right. In the 1900 census, Detroit, Michigan. Okay, now we're missing some of that text. Let's check it. Let's zoom in, Control plus, zoom ourselves in, and okay, it doesn't have the Detroit, Michigan, it's missing that. If I make this box bigger, that doesn't work. So what I need to do is select the text and make the text smaller, and there everything shows up. Check. Now we can, again, the bounding boxes are around there, and you can move this up here if you want, a little closer. And that is how, let me zoom out, that is how you add text to show what these items are in your scrapbook pages, which I think is incredibly important. The other thing too is, what if you wanted to move these pictures around? And if you, let's go down to that picture right there. So that's this one right here, and I selected it over here in the layers. And I want to move it. Well, gosh, look, the text just stays right there. So let me give you a little tip. Because I move things around a lot, most of us do. If you have your picture selected and it's blue right over here on layers, go up to where the text is. And this is the text, May Thorpe Gould and her sons, right? Click on this little chain link right here. And now you'll go back to the picture and see that it's lit up there in a yellowish, orangish. That means that those are now connected. So wherever you move one, the other one goes. You can disconnect them at any time by hitting the little chain again. But you're going to want to do that with most of your text that you add so that you can move things around. And again, if you want to rotate anything, the whole thing rotates. So that's your text tips for today.